I'm Muffin, and welcome back to another Minecraft video. Today I'll be going through a tutorial for my Minecraft medieval tavern. It was requested in my initial video, which was a tour of this village and just an introduction to the world. As you can see, this build is themed around oak and stone, which reflects the block palette in this area, and so today's build will also share the same block palette. Now, you can follow it block for block, or you can use the concepts and create your own build, but for both it's important to understand that there are two components, and the primary one is the tavern and the secondary is the stable, to which I can make its own individual tutorial. Going into the block palette, it's important to understand that these blocks will differ in colour and how they work and interact with each other. Based on the texture pack you're using. I'm using the Conquest ones, but you can find any similar colour scheme. Now, based on what biome you're in, you can always tweak the block palette to kind of reflect the material in that area, and it kind of brings your build to life because it then shows that the people that were living there went out and collected their own material. The first step and the most important is the layout of the building. In this step we sketch out the shape of the building, the components of it, and where our doors will go. And that's all done by placing an oak block, counting out an odd number of spacing, and then placing another one. And it's important to have an odd number in between each block because it will later help with our windows and our roofing. So I'm just adding colour to help visualise. So the red will be the stable and the yellow will be the main tavern and the blues will be the doors. But you don't need to do this, it's just to aid with what we're doing. So again, the yellow is the tavern that we're above right now, and the yellow is the stable. And you can pause it when I fly over to count out the exact blocks, but again, up to you. Step 2 is the ground floor, and all it is extending the height of each block to 4, and that is so that when you're walking through you don't hit your head, but from this plan view you can see how it will look, and if you wanted to count out the blocks. So the next part is creating your beams, which is just done by connecting all the external logs together. So all you do is make your beams and then you connect the tops together, and it just kind of acts as supports, even though Minecraft doesn't need supports, but it just looks nicer because it feels more real. To create doors where you plan them out to be is very simple. You place a door and then you place an upside down staircase, but what you want is that the door is not in line with the outside face of your building, but placed more so from inside, so it creates more depth. Now the next step is adding upside down staircases to wherever the columns are, and this will be done so that we can create our first floor or the second story. So we want this block to these blocks to be 5 high, and it just needs to be bigger than the bottom one, as can be seen through this elevation view. And the purpose for this is so that when you're walking around in your world, your building has a sense of grandeur that you are forced to look up, and it just makes it feel bigger. So after adding your blocks, again, all we do now is just connect with oak logs around the outsides and even through the middle if you'd like to add more supports. And again, we follow the same step of adding upside down staircases to wherever there are columns, and this will just aid with the roof. So here I add more logs, but it's not necessary. Here, because I want the roof shape to flare out, I'm extending the width by adding these further blocks to the building, and it's just, again, you find one of your columns and you add 3 out and a stair underneath, and it kind of broadens your roof. Step 3 are the walls. And the walls are important, but they're very basic. You just follow a shape and you just fill it, and then you punch a hole wherever you want to make windows. Now that one square window is because it's not odd, but the others are all odd spaced. The next stage is to add variation to your build, and it just brings a more textured look. A random effect won't be achieved by following it block for block. Rather, what you want to do is take your darker blocks and start from the bottom by replacing the cobblestone and the wall, and shift the gradient up to a lighter one, and it will give you a sense of height to your build. Step 4 is the roof, probably the most complex, but also if you take a step back it'll be very simple. What you want to do is establish how the slope of the roof will be, and then from there it's very simple. It looks complicated, but it's not. All you want to do is just extend out from the yellow wall blocks and stairs, and don't bother with any of the detail at the moment. So again, place your yellow wall on the side of the roof as you'd like, and just extend it out so that it's a flat roof, and then we can go into adding detail later, but for now just extend it out. Now for the details, I'll just show based off of a completed build. What you want to do is you want to find where your columns are, your oak columns, and your details, your extra layer that you see are just positioned on top of those and in between those columns. So for the stables I just used oak slabs to add another layer, and for these all it is stairs and solid blocks. So now once we've found where our blocks will go, it's a very simple process. Add stairs wherever there's a solid block, and wherever there's a stair, add a block. So what that does is it adds a little bit of height to our normal build. So add a stair where there's a block, and replace the stair with a block. Replace the stair with a block, and once more, and again. And then you repeat this process for wherever your columns are. But as you can see here, it's not evenly spaced or oddly spaced. So taking one of the corners, we just make intervals of 3 and create our own little makeshift columns. But yeah, when you add all of it together, that's how we get. Now, block variation is important. I didn't really do much here, but I'm just showing that you can still do it before or after. My favourite step is step 5, the details. What you want to do is wherever there's a space, add a fence, and wherever there are openings for your windows, add fence gates. So on either side of your windows you want fences. I used spruce fences, and along each of your columns you want to use a spruce fence. And what it does is it just adds this layer when looking at it, and it doesn't end up looking flat, your build. So on either side of your windows add more. Might add a sign out front like this, and then for all of them you just repeat the process, and you can add ladders wherever you'd like I did, just to kind of break up the white in the build. So I did it underneath every window and above every window, and I just feel it makes your build not look bland. It adds depth. Now step 6 is the interior. I'm gonna just kind of fast forward through this. Every tavern needs a chimney, so I built one bang in the middle. You can build it wherever, but over here what I use for the smoke is hay blocks with a campfire, and it sends it even higher, the smokes. And just try mimicking it, try anything. I used the cobblestone walls and stairs to kind of create the shape of a chimney. Now adding staircases and the first like the first level, the first floor. So this is how I wanted it. I wanted 2 floors and an attic. And so again, it's very simple. You add you use oak slabs to kind of increase the height of your ceilings, and then for one of the rooms, because it's a tavern, I'll just show you what I did and you can kind of mimic it, but the interior is up to you. You can create loads of little houses, little residential areas in there just for people to stay the night, and then add candles, add like this gloomy look, add tables and chairs and a counter and little bars and places where food and drinks are stored. These blocks that I'm using are from the Conquest texture pack, and it's just shulker boxes and pots and trapdoors and anvils, but what you want to add is life. So a piano by using a loom, or just little tables and candles here and there, just to kind of show that it's being used. The interior is entirely up to you. It's your own build, it's your own theme, your world, what you want to add, posters or whatever. But to conclude our build, we come outside to add the fences, just to create a paddock for the horses or just as a barricade. And yeah, that kind of concludes our tutorial today. If you believe I earned it, please do drop a like, it helps the algorithm. Drop a comment down below if you want another future video, and do subscribe. Have a good day. Bye.